The CEO of Instagram came out with another video, and as always, you guys know that I like to go head to head with this guy on some of the statements that he makes. We're gonna get into it, so let's go.
I did a video like this about 2 years ago, but we've made a lot of changes and improvements to Instagram over the last few years, so I thought it'd be good to do an updated version. Fair warning, this is gonna be a little bit of a long video because I'm gonna go into detail about how ranking works in stories, and feed, and reels, and explore.
Okay, so right there, in stories, in feed, in reels, and explore, in stories, that's one thing that I talk about that I think is often forgotten. There's like 5 different platforms inside Instagram, and they're not all the same. And they all have different trigger points. Just something to take into consideration.
And it does take a little bit of time to do that. But to start, people often talk about the algorithm, but there is no one algorithm.
The algorithm. I've been caught saying it. We've all been caught saying it. He's right. The algorithm is not just one algorithm. It is not just one thing. There are a multitude of things that happen within the application. They are making little nuances and changes and things like that, but very often we get very confused. We think it's this one thing and it's just not.
For Instagram, there are many algorithms and ranking processes we use to try to personalize the experience.
Ranking processes. Keep that in mind the next time that you're creating content. It's something that is extremely important. I would tend to use ranking processes over algorithm maybe. It's, I think, more of a not hot button word.
Make it as interesting as we can for each and every person who uses Instagram. We believe in this idea of personalization. What you're interested in and what I'm interested in is different, and so therefore your Instagram and my Instagram should be different, and ranking is how we deliver on that promise. So let's start with stories, because they're at the top of the app. Now, when you open up Instagram, the first thing we do is we look at every story that you might see, because it was posted by someone you follow within the last 24 hours. And we estimate how interested you might be in each and every one.
They estimate. Algorithms don't estimate. Algorithms are detailed, very detailed. They don't estimate.
We can't know for sure how interested you are, but we can use proxies or guesses.
What he means by the proxies or guesses are the things, are the indicators that they put in place there. So if you like someone's story, if you watch the story all the way through.
What we do is we make predictions. We predict certain things that you might do with the story. You might tap on a story to open it. You might reply to the author. You might like the story or send a reaction or an emoji. These are all proxies for indicating that you are interested in what that person had to say. And the way we make these predictions is we use signals. Information that we know about you and
signals, another hot button word.
Your interests. Now the most important signals for stories in order of importance are your history of interacting with stories. So do you tend to look at stories from this author? Your history of interactions with the author of that story. So do you tend to reply to that author or like stories from that author in the past? And then how close do you seem to be to that author in general? Maybe you message them really often. That's another signal. Now we use those signals to...
Those 3 signals are highly important. So I would say if you're trying to get someone's attention, engaging in those proxies and those signals in their stories is extremely important.
To make those predictions, the higher we think the likelihood of you tapping on that story or replying to that story, the higher up in stories it's going to be for you when you open up Instagram. All of this is a means of trying to help connect you with the people that you care about and that you're interested in. Next, let's go to feed. The goal of feed is to catch you up on the very best that's happened on Instagram since
the feed is the one I think that you guys care most about. I know like stories was like super hot back in the day, like right prior to like Snapchat, but I think in the reality of things, I think that you guys are more interested in the feed than anything.
Use the app last. This means photos and videos not only from accounts that you follow, but also from accounts that you might not have heard yet, but we think you might be interested in. And what we do here again is make a series of predictions. So for every post, we predict how likely you are to comment on it, like it, share it, tap on the profile pic.
That one is interesting to me. Tap on the profile pic. The only time typically you're gonna tap on the profile pic within Instagram is if you're trying to either A, go to the profile from the feed, or if you're going to watch someone's stories there. So I've never heard that one as a signal before, so that's new. I've never heard that one. Comment, like, share. I've said this a million times to you guys. Comment at the top. It's what they're looking for from a proxy standpoint, from a signal standpoint. This is their number one.
Looking at it. And we make those predictions using signals, information we have. The most important signals in order of importance are 1, your history of interactions. What you tend to interact with and like on Instagram in the past. 2, information about the post. Is it popular? Is there a lot of activity around it? 3, information about the person who made that post. And 4, how much do you tend to interact with that author of that post in the past? And what we try and do is order things in feed in the order that you might be interested in it. So the things that you're the most interested in should be at the top and the least interested at the bottom. Now I want to be clear. We don't know exactly what you're interested in. We're making an educated guess.
He consistently says, we don't know, we predict. It's not one algorithm. There's lots of signals. We're guessing. A lot of this is just like maybes and I don't knows. So I don't know. It's concerning to me. If I was a CEO and you were asking me questions and I just said, maybe, I don't know, predictions, signals, I don't know, there's something, I'd be a little concerned.
Make mistakes. Which is why it's so important that we build controls to help you shape the experience into something that you love. Now, 2 new controls that we've built actually since I made the last one of these videos is favorites and following.
Those are not things that any of us, in my opinion, were clamoring after for our feed. I don't think we're as concerned about what we see in our feed as we are concerned about who's seeing our shit. Like, how much of it. So I think he's backwards in this, just my opinion.
Favorites is a list of accounts that you curate, of accounts that you are really interested in. And if any of your favorites post a photo or video, we're gonna do our best to show that photo or video at the very top of feed next time you open up Instagram. And following is a feed of photos and videos only from accounts you follow and in chronological order.
The first thing he said about Reels is the goal of Reels is to entertain you. Think about that for a second.
If you really want to just focus on what's the latest and greatest that has been posted by the people that you decided to follow over the years. Next, let's go to Reels. Now the goal of Reels is to entertain you, and most of what you'll see in your Reels tab are videos from accounts that you do not yet follow.
So most of the videos that you see, most of the Reels that you see are from accounts that you do not yet follow.